And women now are not the same at the agency like they were 10 years before.
How are they different?
When you are in Peru, you are at home. Welcome to Peru. Who wants to say the reason that you are taking this AFA tour?
We come to Peru, so I figured no better time to do it than now, and to do it in the company of other gentlemen who think the same way I do.
Yes, and that's good. Everybody has a reason. At the beginning, you get, okay, when you are in the tour, you are like excited about the ladies you're meeting and you think that she's the one for me. But then when you go during that week, getting to know a little more and more, then important things about personality or the way they are, the way you are too, appears, comes up. And then is when you said, okay, so maybe this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's why always we suggest, we tell you, keep your time, try to get to know the ladies and everything. Do not cancel the social, guys. Attend both social, Friday and Saturday, okay? Because maybe on Friday, feel some connection with any special lady, but you don't know if that's gonna work. So give yourself the chance to meet the ladies on Saturday, because if not on Saturday, we have to tell them, today we're gonna have a group of nine. If I have a group of 9 today, then I will say for tomorrow, tomorrow we have a group of 8 because somebody, what happened with that guy? The lady said, and I said, it seems like he doesn't feel well, but I know the reason, that you seem like you find the one. And then why? Because something happened after that. When you get too excited the first time meeting the lady and just only you want to date the only lady, then maybe within the week of the tour, we have a tour of 7 days and 10 days. What do you think about Peruvian women?
Well, I can
No
say
question.
the
Okay.
first Peruvian woman that I ever met was in high school.
Me too.
She was there was an all-girls school in my town.
Yeah.
And they had a high school dance.
Yes.
And we got invited to go to the dance. And when I walked in, the first person I saw was this Peruvian young lady. I didn't know she was from
She likes dancing.
Yes. So did I. That day I did anyway. She was the nicest person that I had ever met, and I never forgot her. And then since then, every person that I've met from Peru has been nothing but welcoming. They give a lot of information and stuff like that.
My first girlfriend in high school was a Peruana.
Oh, was a Peruana too? Okay, so you should marry a Peruvian woman. And women now are not the same at the agency like they were 10 years before. Now they have another kind of questions too. And you will see when you're sitting on the table, talking with them, the difference, because maybe before the ladies were like, they know what they want, okay? But they were like more conservative about saying or asking. But now they ask. They are, you will see, they are people who went to college, who went to university here in Peru. They are professional, they have their own business. You will see that the ladies, they go to the university, they have their, I will say that they are doing well here in the country. What is missing for them and what is very important is about having a partner, having the right one who is serious about the relationship, who really wanted to marry, and not spend a long relationship, 3, 4, 5 years, and no engagement ring, no marriage. And the lady said, I want to have maybe my family, and I'm having a long relationship, so where is it gone? What happens if after 5 years of relationship then Everything stop, finish, breaking, and then nothing. So that's the main reason that the ladies, they came to the agency. Meet as many girls as possible. Remember that today you're gonna meet of a group of ladies around maybe 70 ladies per day. So the one for today are different, as you know, from tomorrow, Saturday. Okay, the ladies for tomorrow is another group. It's not the same for Friday. Okay, so you don't know who are going to meet on Saturday too.
Right now we are able to have our phones, and our phone has cameras, so you can take pictures of the tables that you're gonna be at, and especially the ladies that you wanna remember, because everything is gonna happen at the social. There's gonna be so many ladies, and then you're gonna be at the next day like, hey, I remember this girl, but I don't remember her name or the ID number. So if you have your cameras with you or your cell phone with you, maybe you can take pictures. The thing is that you're not gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna take a picture of Sarah. I'm gonna be like, hey, Sarah. I mean, you can take pictures of the table, and in that case, you're gonna know which is the lady you are interested. But if you are doing like you're saying, if you're like specific being in someone's face, they're gonna be like, what's going on here?
You will be meeting your interpreters before the event. So this meeting with them is really important. You can let them know how you want to work. They will also tell you how they usually do it, because we all have experience in these types of events. So usually they are going to ask you some questions to get a better knowledge about you guys. What are you looking for physically, emotionally in a person? Tell your interpreter your do-dos and your no-nos, right? About the ladies, because in that way they can actually help you. For example, I don't know, I don't like pets, for example. For me, that's a no. I consider myself more like a spiritual person instead of a more like a Christian or a Muslim, I don't know. So those factors are really important for you to tell your interpreter. Yeah. In that way, she can actually help you during the event, during like the after the event also, when they are trying to schedule dates for you. They will let you know, like, if she already remembers, okay, this lady has 7 cats and he hates cats. Yeah, right. Okay, keep in mind that she has 7 cats. Okay, are you cool with it? No. Okay, no, not with her. So in that way, you can communicate, you can talk to your interpreter, and she can help. Okay, now once we're on the table with the ladies, it's really important that you forget that you have an interpreter next to you. Try to address your communication directly to the ladies. Try to make eye contact with them. Why? Because sometimes we're just next to you guys, and you just stop looking at the girls, and you're like, you're trying to understand your interpreter, trying to hear all the words from your interpreter, and you forget about the ladies, and the visual contact is really important. Okay? So the same, if an interpreter sees that the ladies are paying attention to her, probably she's going to skip the view out of the ladies, so they can also see you directly. Okay, just forget she's there. We are ninjas. We are not supposed to be there. Okay. I personally recommend you that if you find a table that the ladies, most of the times the first tables that you are, they get a little bit like nervous. It's your time to show the best part of you. It's your time to be talkative and show them like what kind of person are you. So if you see, also the interpreter will help you if the table stays in silence for a little while. The interpreter will initiate a conversation, but it will be nice if you also start it, okay? After they introduce themselves, you have more time to ask questions and answer their questions. So if you see like they are like nervous, they're shy, just, I don't know, ask them about, what can you tell me about Peru? I just arrived yesterday. What restaurants do you recommend me? Have you traveled abroad? Try to initiate the conversation. In that way, you don't miss the time, and probably an answer. I don't know. You feel that someone is smarter. I don't know. Someone's answer. Your interest. So that will be good. So you keep the communication.
Translators, yeah, they are super helpful. They know and that the idea is to help the client as much as possible. And they are, as Noelia said, forget about them. Just only you go, you walk, enjoy meeting the ladies, talking to them. They are the ones who are gonna be taking notes when you move. Remember, when we play the music to change the table, we're gonna play music, high volume, and then it means that you have to change the table. In that moment that you're moving to the next table, okay, so the translator then is the time when you should talk to your interpreter and tell, hey, from that table where I was sitting, I like Rosita. And Noelia is the one who is gonna tell, the interpreter is taking notes, the idea and everything about that table. If it is one lady or two, that's okay. Tonight, when you appear in the room, is when they said you got the impression of the whole group of the ladies, and then the ladies they will say, you are the ones coming to this tour, okay? So that's why it's very important that the first impression that also you do when you enter the room about how you get dressed. Please make the best impression you can today. The way you're dressing, the way, what you're telling them. And remember that at the beginning when the social started, it's gonna be like just a brief introduction about you, who you are. Do not tell that much information because a lot of information is gonna be at the visiting the table. Just say hello, greet the ladies, and all of that.
So you're gonna be seeing in each one of the tables, approximately 8 ladies. 8 ladies that are gonna have a name tag. The name tag, they're gonna have their ID number and they have their name. So if anything, you wanna see them again or something and you take the pictures, they're gonna be having the ID number for the agency that you can pull out their pictures or the profile and see what she looks like in the pictures. So all of them have that. And like Ken was saying, like if someone speaks English, you're gonna know because they're gonna start speaking to you in English. And also, we give them like a little dot. And color that in the name tag, that means that they speak English. The one that they don't, basically they don't, that you're gonna know because they're gonna be saying everything in Spanish. Remember guys, that during the socials, you're gonna be working and being helped by your interpreters. They're gonna be the ones in order to start arranging your dates. But in order for them to do that, you have to tell them, okay, yes, I'm interested in this lady, in this other lady, this other lady, because what has happened before is like some guys say, I'm gonna tell them at the end of the end of the night.
No.
And what happens with that is that you give them less time to the interpreters to actually start working with that, because like we were saying, in order to move around Lima, sometimes it takes an hour or more. So the ladies know that the social event is gonna be up to 11:30. But sometimes it happens that, let's say around 11, they need to get going because they live so far away. And if you give the information to the translator so at the very last moment, maybe they're not going to be able to find those ladies. So the sooner you give that information, they can start working with those ID numbers and with those ladies so they can give you a date. It's better if you don't give her just the one option.
Okay.
Because what happens is like maybe the interpreter goes to that specific lady and the lady said, for some reason I'm working tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning and I can't. So if you give them, let's say, okay, I have these 5, please make sure one of them is available.
Okay.
Because you don't know. I mean, the more possibilities, the more options you gave them, it's going to be so much better.
Okay.
Travel to exciting places and meet hundreds of stunning single women. Check out our website at
Peru-women.com.